One of these photos was shot on a top-of-the-line Sigma art lens. The other was shot on Sony's $100 kit lens. Can you tell which one is which? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Can you overcome a cheap lens's shortcomings with some fancy editing? We spend thousands of dollars chasing better image quality. We buy sharper lenses with creamier background blur, better colors, more pop, more micro contrast, the list goes on. And I will say this up front, expensive lenses do look better. Today I am comparing Sony's little kit lens against Sigma's 17 to 40mm art lens, shooting the exact same images on the same camera, and then I'll edit them at different levels to see how close the gap between images will be. And just a spoiler, some of these results were quite surprising. To keep things fair, I am shooting the same scenes in the same lighting with as many similar settings as possible with one camera, and I am doing 3 rounds. First, straight out of the camera, second, with some light editing on both images, and finally third, a more involved edit. Let's begin. Looking at these files straight out of the camera, I think most photographers will immediately pick a favorite. Image A has a little bit less depth. There is a lot less subject separation. Image B looks a little bit smoother, has some more dimension. Not that image A looks bad, it's just a little bit more flatter. The background is a little busier and a little bit more distracting. So overall, the image doesn't feel quite as polished as what you get with B. And this is what I expected. This is why most people buy expensive lenses. If you just stop the experiment here, I think the Sigma would obviously win. And if you guys couldn't tell, well, here are the lenses labeled Sigma on the right and then the kit lens on the left. But this isn't where I'm stopping this comparison. I'm going to edit both of these images and you'll see that the difference gets a lot smaller. Now for this round, I'm keeping things very simple. I'm doing just some basic exposure adjustments. So we're going to darken this right here. I am going to do a little bit of color correction here. And you can see here, we really haven't changed the images very much at all. We're just adjusting for colors and exposure a little bit. So here's the before and the after, adding a little bit more contrast, and second one before and after. Now let's compare them side by side. All right, so here they are side by side again, and you can probably easily tell which one is which. Still, we just, again, adjusted the colors a little bit, and zooming in, you'll see, I mean, they're pretty similar in terms of sharpness at least. But I want to push things even further and see if I can make the kit lens look better than what you get with the more expensive Sigma. And for that, just to save myself hours and hours of masking and dodge and burn and tweaking, I'm going to use a modern editing tool. Now before we go any further, a portion of this video is sponsored by Luminar Neo, and you already saw me use it to make those basic adjustments just a few moments ago inside of the program. And really, for turning things up and turning up the ante, so to speak, it's going to be a perfect tool to see just how close I can push these two images. I've been experimenting lately with the latest 1.27 update because a lot of the new and updated tools are focused on portraits and selective adjustments, and that is perfect for this test because I have a handful of portraits in this test that I'm editing. So let's go down, and we're going to start with this portrait section. We're going to go to the face. Now what's cool is I can zoom in here and I can make the face brighter or darker, just like that. I'm going to brighten it up just a little bit so we have good contrast and then just a slightly brighter face, which looks quite good. Next, I'm going to go to the eyes and I'm going to increase this a little bit, maybe add some more iris flare, and then add just a touch of whitening. And then I really like the eye enhancer tool here, so you can scroll up just a little bit. You don't want to go too crazy because it gets freaky looking, but just around here looks quite nice. Red eye removal if you need it. I'm going to adjust it here, and then I can adjust dark circles as well and just touch those up. And here I can even fine tune the eyebrows. And then I'll go down to the mouth and give her a little bit more red lips. And then I'll go into skin and do a little bit of face smoothing. And you can see that just that little bit, I mean, well, there's a massive difference if I look at the before and the after. This looks a lot more professional. We haven't really messed with all of it yet. And the goal really isn't to change the way that Janessa looks, it's just to fine tune and remove some of the distractions, make the photo pop a little bit more. One of the things that separates an expensive lens from a cheaper lens is the amount of background blur, but can software bridge that gap? The tool that I'm going to be using is called Bokeh AI. Now, this is super duper simple to use. This is the image out of the 16-50 kit lens. All I have to do is move this little knob up and you will see that already the background is getting more blurry. Now, what's cool about this tool is there is a focal distance here. You can kind of see Janessa's body outlined, and I can move this forward if I want the focus to shift to the front of her body, and I can move it back, and I can find that happy medium where she's in focus and it is a realistic looking subject separation. Now, if I crank this tool up to 100 and take a look at something like a high contrast line here, like her arm, you could see that this could use some feathering, and I can spend some time to kind of make that go away and look okay. But from a distance, it's not too bad, and I'm not going up to 100. I'm going to find a happy medium, and I'm going to adjust my focus distance. So here are the final two images, and let me know if you guys can tell which one is which in this scenario. It is looking really, really close. And if anything, there's some flaws here. You have some chromatic aberrations here. You don't have that here. It's kind of an interesting thing. Now, comment down below if you guys think it's A or B for the kit lens image. I'll wait a couple of seconds. And if you can't tell, the easiest way to tell is just taking a look at the bokeh balls. With the more expensive lens, you'll see more bokeh balls in general, whereas with editing, you get the same sort of effect of a blurry background, but you don't get as many bokeh balls themselves. You get a couple here and there, but nowhere near the amount that you see here. And then you could take a look at fine things like we talked about the feathering on the arm, which I didn't fix here. So that is kind of a giveaway. Now, if you're posting this on social, I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell the difference between two looking at a small screen. And it is pretty shocking how close these two get. I mean, take a look at this. Obviously, kit lens is at f5.6, so that's working to its advantage. So it's keeping the center of the frame nice and sharp. This is wide open f1.8. All right, so take a look at these portraits here, side by side, and looking at it from a glance, you really can't tell a difference. Here, I'll zoom into the face. Again, can you tell which one is taken with a roughly $1,000 lens versus a roughly $100 lens? It's a tough one. The giveaway, I think, is the exact same as in the first image, and that is you see actual bokeh balls. So this is the Sigma on the left, if you haven't guessed, and then the kit lens on the right. If anything, the kit lens on the right, in terms of bokeh, I mean, it's a little less distracting because there's no balls themselves. It just looks like a blurry background. But that being said, people love bokeh balls. So let me know which image you guys prefer, kit lens versus the Sigma in this side by side. This is shockingly, I mean, shockingly close what you can do just with literally 30 seconds worth of editing. There really are a lot of tools here. I could spend an hour or two going through all of them, but I wanted to focus on kind of the newer portrait stuff because that's the stuff that I use most often. And this new update makes them a little bit faster, a little bit better masking, I think I found over the last couple of weeks that I've been playing with it. So I'd encourage you guys to check it out if you guys are looking for an excellent editing program that's fully featured. This is so much easier than trying to do Photoshop, at least for me. And it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you guys try it, you don't like it, no big deal. You don't have to put any money into it. So can you beat an expensive lens with some fancy editing? I think the best answer is that with editing, you can close the gap much more than I expected. I really didn't think it would get this close between these two lenses. Ultimately, I think that the Sigma is a better starting point for editing, so it creates a better image straight out of the camera. It certainly helps when you have low light situations, difficult lighting situations, things that I didn't really test in this comparison. And I'm not saying that if you are a wedding photographer, just go shoot with your kit lens and then just go edit and it'll turn out just like a pro lens. I think that the real takeaway is that modern editing programs can solve many of the problems that you used to only be able to solve by purchasing very expensive camera lenses and camera gear. Is it perfect? No. Is it magical? No, but it does make things so close and it opens up kind of an interesting conversation, and that's exciting, and I suppose it's terrifying at the same time depending on how much money you've spent on lenses and gear. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you want to check out Luminar Neo, links will be down there below. I encourage you to check this out. This is great editing software that I use all the time for not only my YouTube stuff but for client stuff. So check it out down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.